Welcome to HR Insight. I'm John Paul McFarland. Today we're talking about one of the most overlooked and underperformed skills in all of business leadership, developing people. We're going to look at what the research says, what the best companies are doing right now, and what you can do differently starting today. Picture this. Maya is sitting across from her manager, David, for their monthly one-on-one. She's been at the company for 3 years. She's sharp, she's motivated, and she's quietly wondering over the last 6 months whether she should stay or go. She takes a breath and says, David, I'd really love to talk about where my career is headed. I feel like I'm ready for more responsibility. David nods, looks at his phone and says, yeah, totally, I'll get back to you on that, and then pivots to a project update. Maya never brings it up again. 2 months later, she accepts an offer from a competitor. Here's the thing. David wasn't a bad guy. He wasn't even a bad manager. He just never learned how to develop people around him. And that gap cost the company a top performer. Months of recruiting time, and likely tens of thousands of dollars. And Maya, she just wanted somebody to invest in her. If you've ever been in Maya's shoes, or if we're being honest, if you've ever been in David's shoes, this video is for you. How well are managers at developing their employees is a subject of research by Robert Etchinger, Michael Lombardo, and David Ulrich in their book, 100 Things You Need to Know, Best People Practices for Managers in HR. These researchers ask the hard questions, test them across organizations, industries, and decades, and tell us how confident they are of their answer. So today's quiz is this. How skilled are managers in general at being good coaches and helping others develop their long-term careers? A, managers are outstanding at coaching and helping their people develop. B, managers are strong at coaching and helping their people develop. C, managers are about average in their ability to develop other people. D, managers are not very skilled in helping people develop in their career. Or E, managers are very poor at coaching and developing their people. If you said anything other than E, you're quite the optimist. But the data is pretty clear. Managers in general are very poor at coaching and developing their people. What? And how sure are the authors of this answer? The answer is solid, meaning considerable research has been done, and the answer is agreed upon by almost all research done on this topic. The findings are not likely to change in our lifetime. Researchers Lombardo and Etchinger collected data across 6 years in over 140 diverse organizations involving more than 50,000 raters. Out of 67 leadership competencies measured, developing others ranked dead last, number 67 out of 67, which feels about as depressing as it sounds. Now you might be thinking, okay, managers aren't great coaches, but does it really matter that much? It matters a lot. Let's look at what the research tells us. According to the McKinsey Heir Apparent study, only 7% of firms hold managers accountable in any direct way for the development of their people. And McKinsey's War for Talent study, only 3% of firms said they did a good job of filling their management pipeline with viable candidates for increased responsibilities. 3%. Think about that. 97% of companies are essentially crossing their fingers when it comes to leadership succession. And the ripple effects are massive. Lombardo and Etchinger put it plainly. Companies suffer an enormous cost by not acting on the negative influence of underperformers. Underperformers are unable to attract top talent, do not develop their people below them, block opportunities for those around them, undermine the morale of the group they lead, and ultimately cause better performers to leave the company. That's a chain reaction of dysfunction, all traceable back to one root cause, a failure to develop people. The Society for Human Resource Management, or SHRM, reported about 1/3 of workers experienced poor management and ineffective senior leadership in 2024. Meanwhile, Gallup reported that global employee engagement declined from 23% in 2023 to 21% in 2024, a decline driven largely by management disengagement. The estimated productivity loss from that drop annually is $438 billion. So why is this happening? Why, despite decades of research, widespread awareness, are managers still so poor at developing their people? Well, there are a few reasons. First, there's the time problem. Most managers are terminally busy. They're managing up, managing across, managing deadlines, and trying to keep the wheels on their own work. Development conversations feel like a luxury when everything is on fire. Second, there's the incentive gap. Cotter's research found that most organizations simply don't reward coaching behavior. Promotions go to those who hit the numbers, not to those who develop others. That's a systemic problem. Third, most managers were never taught how to coach. They were promoted because they were great individual contributors, great engineers, great salespeople, great analysts. Nobody handed them a playbook on how to develop somebody else's career. It's like picking your best swimmer and making them the swim coach, then being surprised that the team doesn't improve. And then there's the fourth issue. The coaching profession itself has become a bit of a Wild West. A good coach, a real one, has a variety of experiences across organizations, knows the research on management excellence, and can adapt that research to unique situations. A good coach is able to form relationships of trust by caring about the person being coached, gives honest and direct feedback, and is consistently learning. That is a rare combination. And yet, there's no shortage of former executives who have printed business cards that say, Executive Coach, after attending a 2-day workshop. Be careful out there. Look for credentials, look for methodology, and for coaches who ask great questions, not just coaches who dole out advice. Here's the good news, though. Some organizations are doing a great job at developing their people, and their approaches give us a real blueprint. Marriott International spans 32 brands over 130 countries, a massive, multilingual, distributed workforce that makes consistent people development genuinely difficult. Their response is their flagship Voyage program, which pairs recent graduates with dedicated coaches for monthly career conversations available across 50+ countries. At the manager level, Brandon Hall Group research found that Marriott identified frontline managers as the single most critical lever for employee experience, then rebuilt their global development infrastructure around that insight. The goal, make sure that every manager, whether in Dallas or Dubai, has the same tools and the same mindset to develop the person standing right in front of them. And the result is a returning spot on Fortune's list of 100 best companies to work for. In healthcare, an industry facing some of the worst burnout and turnover in the world, Cleveland Clinic took a structured approach. In 2024, they deployed 60 coaches who spent over 800 hours coaching employees across their global health system. They built an internal coaching culture where coaches are nominated from within, trained in self-awareness and structured methodology, and given the tools to measure impact. As their senior director of talent development put it, coaching unlocks potential for individuals and organizations. Google's famous Project Oxygen research, which identifies the behaviors of the best managers, found that being a good coach was the #1 behavior distinguishing effective managers from ineffective ones. Not technical expertise, not strategic vision, coaching. Google responded by building coaching into their manager training, their performance systems, and their culture. The result? Teams with strong coaching managers showed significantly higher performance, lower turnover, and better employee satisfaction scores. So what does the best practice approach to employee development actually look like? The research converges on a clear answer. It is not enough to simply tell managers to start developing their people. Relying exclusively on line managers to develop their people is, in the words of the research, a losing strategy. Typical line managers aren't skilled at it, they aren't rewarded for it, and they don't have the bandwidth for it. The approach that actually works is a coordinated effort. It requires 3 things to work together. 1, professional HR leadership driving the development strategy and ensuring quality and measuring outcomes. 2, top management passion and sponsorship. And 3, manager and employee involvement. John Carter of the Harvard Business School captured it well. Organizations with superior leadership focus on working to make younger managers visible to senior management and creating a wealth of challenging leadership development opportunities. We started this video with Maya and David. I want to go back to that for a moment. Imagine a different version of that story, one where David actually learned how to develop his people, where he sat down with Maya and asked real questions like, what energizes you at work? Where do you want to be in 3 years? What's one stretch assignment that would help you get there? Imagine a company where those conversations happen regularly, not once a year in a performance review, but as part of how leaders lead, where developing others wasn't the 67th competency on the list, but one of the top 5. That company retains its best people and builds a bench of ready leaders. The research is not ambiguous. The best practices are not a mystery, and the science bears it out. What remains is the will to act on it, intentionally and with genuine care for the people doing the work. The most effective leaders are those who see developing others not as a burden, but as one of the highest forms of leadership, perhaps the highest. If you found this video useful, please share it with a manager or the HR leader in your life, especially one who might be tempted to answer A on the quiz. Subscribe for more research-backed content on leadership, talent development, and the science of building great organizations. And to every leader who's trying to do right by their people, keep going. The Mayas out there are counting on you.
John Paul here. If you like this video, check out the HR Insight YouTube channel where we have more videos just like this. Make sure to click subscribe so you get notifications.